To you.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity, Peter.
Well, I'm sure that the thousands and thousands of people that you've helped so far are very grateful to the work that you're doing. Tell us a little bit about why Eduloan was set up and just how you go about assisting.
So we've been in existence for 18 years now, and the 3.7 billion rand is really about giving people the opportunity to improve their lives. You know, one of the things that we talk about, good debt and bad debt, and we believe that this is good debt because it's about creating an asset, and that asset being your mind. You know, we believe in the fact that the meaning of earthly existing is not about prospering, it's about making an impact. And the way you are able to make impact is if you're able to make good decisions for yourself. By making good decisions for yourself, you can make good decisions for your communities. And it's also about competitiveness. We function in such a highly competitive, dynamic, global environment. And if we are not educated and we don't have the ability to make an impact because of the intellectual property that we bring to the table, we are then compromised as a country.
Okay, so how do you decide who gets a loan? Because I would imagine, you know, it's easy with the kids that get the distinctions and perform, but sometimes there's some students who will eventually get their degrees, but they are students of need. Are those helped in the system as well?
So absolutely yes. Our focus is to make it as affordable as possible. We see ourselves as a catalyst. So one of the things that we do is that, you know, that 95% of our current base are from previously disadvantaged backgrounds, and at least 20% of that between earning between 1 and 5,000 rand, we actually give loans to. Even if you have a couple of adverse events on your credit record, we still try and make sure that we assist you. We take you through a very stringent affordability process to make sure that we don't over-indebt you. We also make sure that we pay the money directly to the institution where you're going to go and study, so that we make sure that the money goes for what it is intended to. So that stringent affordability process, we make sure that we don't over-indebt you, and because we don't over-indebt you, find that our defaults, in terms of defaults on our loans, is less than 2%.
So when do they start paying? Straight away? Because student loans, my understanding is you finish a degree, and when you start working, that's when you start paying back from the fruits of your labor, as it were. How is your setup?
No, so our structure is essentially pay as you go. For the time being, we are trying one or two other things. But the thing that we find is that because of the fact that we make the loan so affordable, when you generally finish your academic year, our average loan term is 12 months. Okay. So when you finish your academic year, you actually finish paying for the loan for that year.
All right. So the loan is with the parents, actually. It's not with the students.
Precisely.
Okay. And you're basically saying, we will help you fund your child's education and we'll set up a payment plan over a year, whatever term that you agree upon, to assist them in that time. But still, that's quite a burden for them, isn't it? I mean, some of them are not wealthy, as you say.
Correct.
So they might not be able to borrow that much, as you said. And yet we know that school fees are quite high. So what happens between the gap with what you can help and what they can afford?
So there's couple of things that we do. So once again, you know, part of what we do is that in terms of the period of the loan, we're able to adjust the period of the loan. And if we make the period of the loan longer, you're able to then afford more. So that's the one thing. But once again, there has to be a balance with, once again, the debt that somebody can afford. So that's the one thing. The other aspect is the interest rate, of course, because it's one of the very interesting things that we find is that we do a lot of research and we find that South Africans generally don't understand what an interest rate is. The higher the interest rate and the longer the repayment period, you will be in debt longer. So because of the fact that we play around with the repayment period, but make the loan affordable, because of the fact that we are able to secure our funding much cheaper, gives us the ability to make a loan affordable.
Is that the difference then between you and a bank?
So I would suggest a couple of things. The first thing is that all we do is educational loans. We don't venture into other lending. So we are focused on making sure that people get access to education. That's the first thing. Right. The other thing that we do is we do all of education. We don't just do higher education. We do basic education as well as higher education. Even if you want to go for your private commercial pilot license, we do that as well.
So if I want to go do an MBA, for example, I could come to you and say, listen, I need 200,000 Rand, and you'll check my my ability to pay back, and then you would fund that.
No, absolutely. So, but part of what we do is we make sure that we have a relationship with the institution where you're going to go and study. So, and part of that relationship is to make sure that in terms of, once again, understanding the exposure and what amount you really need, because often we have this question about what do you really need? How much do you need? And part of what we are able to do because of our relationships with higher education institutions, both universities as well as FETs, as well as other higher education institutions that offer coaching, for instance, we are able to make sure that you get the appropriate amount that you require.
Okay, 50 to 60,000 loans per year. How many people are applying? I would imagine it's much, much more than that.
So we get in the region of about 80 to 85,000 applications a year. Once again, because of the way our assessment process is structured, you can see that the approval rate is quite high. And it's once again down to the fact that we specifically look at previously disadvantaged individuals. I mean, I'll give you an example. There was a lady teacher who got her master's degree through us. She put her 3 sons through professional degrees, mostly engineering, and now has educated about 5 or 6 of her extended family in a similar manner. 47 loans in total. So one of the things that we find is that because of our ethical approach and our approach to making sure that people don't over-indebt themselves, they always come back to us. So on average, people come back to us between 6 and 11 times.
Right, we've run out of time, but very quickly, what do you do with parents who just can't afford the loan, but they've got exceptionally talented children? Is there any way you can help?
So yes, there is. So part of what we have been doing is incubating what we call the Eduloan Foundation. So that's one of the things that we've been doing. But also one of the other things is also suggest other avenues. You know, university is not the only place that you can go to. You can go to an FET, and most of those FETs are fully funded in terms of your tuition fees. So you might have to take small steps to get to the big step. But we live for 70 years, you know, and you know, at 60 we look at the second career.
Okay.
So there's a lot of time.
So what's the best way to apply? What should they do?
On the internet, www.eduloan.co.za. There's a calculator and there's information there. And then our contact center, 0860 555544.
And how quickly do they get a response?
Generally between 42 and 72 hours.
Wow, okay. Warren Hira, thank you very much indeed for your time, sir, and thank you for the good work that you're doing, because we certainly need our kids educated, especially the ones that have got all these great results. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.